Hello and welcome to Inside The Hive. Great show on the way for you today. We're going to hear from Claudio Ranieri. We're going to hear from two of the new signings, Hassan Kamara and Edo Kayembe. We're going to look ahead to Newcastle this weekend. We've got a very special 60-second challenge on the show, and we're going to add a defender to Watford's greatest 11. Joining us on the show to go through all that, as always, we're joined by the legend that is Mr. Tommy Mooney. Tommy, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good week. Golf this week, I hear?
I played yesterday for the first time for a long time, so really enjoyed it.
And all the clubs intact?
New driver, I wasn't going to throw that.
Good man. And we're also joined by another Watford legend as well this evening. We've got Lloyd Doyley with us. Lloyd, how are you?
Hello, yeah, I'm good, thank you. Very good.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Before we get stuck into everything, of course, this week does mark 5 years since we lost the legend that is Graham Taylor, the gaffer. Tommy, I know he had a profound effect on you. It still feels like he's part of the club. It's amazing on a match day to see young fans as well as fans remember him around the statue. Just an incredible guy.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's no Watford Football Club without Graham Taylor in the same sentence for me. So yeah, always nice to see everybody's tributes and kind words.
Yeah, Lloyd, an incredibly special guy.
Yeah, you know, he gave me my first pro contract, so I've got a lot of love for him, really. And you know, he, at the time when he gave me my contract, he helped me along the way as well.
Yeah, I think as we've said on the show, as always, you know, gone but certainly never forgotten and always in our thoughts. Lloyd, you mentioned Graham gave you your first contract. Let's talk about your time as a player, your time here at Watford. Lots of special memories for you?
Yeah, you know, I can always remember making my debut against Tommy.
How did that go?
We ended up drawing 3-3 against Birmingham City. Tommy just left at the time, and you know, he went to a good team, Birmingham City at the time. They were flying, and I came on when it was 1-0 down, and we ended up drawing 3-3. So 2 of the goals were my fault.
Tommy, what was he like to play against in that first game?
I remember him coming in. I actually remember the game, and I don't think it had been long into the game, and he tried to nutmeg me, and I just thought, how rude.
No respect.
No respect. And then I think a couple of minutes later, I might have tried to leave a little bit on you.
Yep.
Just a little bit.
Just to teach you a lesson, and there was some pantomime boos from the Watford fans. It was a really nice moment, and you know, he went on to become very, very successful. So pleased.
Yeah. We can't not talk about goals, especially with Tommy in the studio. Goals come up every single week. There was a bit of a wait for your first goal. What was it, 269th appearance? Goal against QPR. An incredibly special goal for you, and one that lots of people remember.
Yeah, well, I can always remember a lot of fans, anytime I got past the halfway line, they used to say, shoot. So, you know, I finally got past the halfway line, got in the box and ended up scoring.
Look at that.
Yep. I actually didn't know what to do with myself, as you can see right now. But it was a great moment. You know, I think even if we would have lost that game against QPR, the atmosphere was electric. Yeah. And thankfully we went on 1-3-1, and it was a great moment for me personally. So
it's great techers though. I'd have been proud of that diving.
Yeah. It was a good header.
Yeah. That first goal special, I've seen before, you've said that it kind of felt like the stadium kind of went silent for a split second. Just talk us through that moment. You've gone in for the ball, and that moment of realisation, oh, it's gone in.
Yeah, well, I've done a diving header, and you're right, it did go silent just for a second. So I believe that the fans couldn't believe that I scored.
Silence of disbelief.
I thought at the time, I must be offside, because, you know, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, thankfully it was onside, and you know, it was my first goal, really.
Yeah,
good.
Tell me, that first goal was always special. I know you scored plenty, but do you remember that first professional goal?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, not quite as glamorous. I was Hereford away playing for Scarborough in what's now League Two. So I think every player, it doesn't matter whether you're fullback or a striker, you remember your first league experience and your first league goal, certainly. Yeah, absolutely, everybody does.
Obviously, you mentioned the celebration. You kind of felt a bit lost, didn't know where to go, didn't know what to do. Tommy, your first celebration, did you go straight in with the locomotion, or?
No, just the same, one hand in the air before Alan Shearer started it, actually, because I'm a little bit old. I think I'm a day older. But yeah, I think it's different for strikers, because it's expected of you, so it's a relief when you score. So it's a big outtake of breath. Obviously, at times in games when you know it's a winning goal, it's slightly different. But I would have liked to enjoy the experience when there's no pressure on you to score goals.
Yeah.
And I think, Lloyd's already said how much he enjoyed it.
Lloyd, let's talk about your career now. Assistant manager at Bournemouth, good victory in the FA Cup, you're through to the next round. How are you enjoying that?
I'm loving it. I'm 39 now, so I had to hang up the boots. But it's my first 6 months in dealing with the first team, and I'm enjoying it. We're third in the league at the moment with a couple of games in hand. So I'm in the FA Cup after fourth round. First time Bournemouth's ever been to a fourth round, and we're still in the FA Trophy as well. So it's a great achievement, but it's only halfway through the season. So there's a lot more to look forward to, and we're going to have some ups and downs, but we're going to stick together and strive forward together.
And how are you finding that, sharing your experiences of your playing career with younger players and helping implement things on a match day? How do you find that?
To be honest, once I turned 34, 35, I was always doing that anyway. Giving a little bit of advice to the youngsters from my experience, and a lot of the players who I coach now, they've never played in a championship or the Prem. So all I can do is try and help them improve themselves, and hopefully by me helping them improve, they help the team as well.
Massively. Obviously, that keeps you busy on a weekend, but let's get your assessment on Watford so far this season. We've got a massive week coming up. What are your thoughts so far on how we've been playing and how we've been doing?
We all know the Prem is a tough league. Any team that comes back up always struggle a little bit, but I think Watford's got enough. They've got enough. Once we get back some of the injuries and some of the injuries back, with the two new players who've just come in, and you never know, there might be some more additions as well. So all that will all help Watford to stay up this year.
Yeah, massively. Tommy, it's going to be a busy week for you because, of course, you'll be on commentary, but up north for a few days, Newcastle, then Burnley. It's a massive week because, of course, we've then got Norwich on the Friday as well. How important is it to get a good group of points out of this one?
Yeah, it's huge. You could argue it's the three biggest game of the season, but if you go on and a positive and get points from these games, it could set an enjoyable season up. Having said that, the flip side, we know all about. So I think you have to go into that. It's the old football adage, one game at a time, but it genuinely is, because they're all in the space of 6 days. 3 massive games with 9 points available in 6 days. It's what footballers want. You want to play in tough games. Lloyd will tell you remember the tough games, win or lose, as well. So yeah, huge week, and one I think that we're ready for.
2 of those games away. For players, from your perspective, in big games like that, we know how amazing away travelling support can be, as well as it's amazing here inside the stadium. But how did you find that when you had a tough game away? How important was that away support, the fans that travel, that are just incredible?
Well, believe it or not, even though you get minimal away supporters, they normally make the most noise in the stadium. And once you quiet their crowd, you know that you're on top. And I'm sure that's what Watford will be trying to do at St James's Park on, is it Saturday?
Saturday. On
Saturday as well. So, I'm sure the Watford fans will have a great weekend.
They certainly will.
Yeah, I think St James's Park, with the current situation with their new owners, they'll have 2 new signings playing on Saturday. So the first 20 minutes are always difficult at St James's Park, but this week more so. If we weather that, they're still the team that's below us in the league. So I'd fully expect us to go on and win the game.
We know Burnley's one of your favourite grounds. How many games is it now you've been to that have been called off?
Yes, so many games, 4 or 5 games. And last time around I got to the car park and had to turn back round. So hopefully that's not the same. But this Tuesday I'll go and see my old mate TC and meet him for a cup of coffee before Burnley, and we'll go to the game together.
Nice. Okay, right, let's talk about new signings, shall we? Because we've got 3 new additions that we can talk about so far on the show. We're going to be hearing from one tomorrow, but let's kick things off with one of those 2 we're going to listen to on the show today. And we're going to start off with Kayembe.
Claudio Ranieri told us last week that you can play in a number 6 role, but you can also play on the left of a 2-man central midfield. What would you say are your main qualities as a midfielder?
Moi, je suis un peu polyvalent, je m'adapte à beaucoup de positions. Je vais jouer au milieu. Il y a longtemps, on mettait aussi comme latéral, donc j'ai joué, je faisais de mon mieux, mais je suis un peu polyvalent, je peux m'adapter à toutes les positions, mais ma position initiale, c'est le milieu. Donc.
You've scored 4 goals in your professional career, but they've all come this season. So what's changed in your game to mean that you're now contributing goals as well?
De goal, c'est le système que je jouais à Eupen, parce qu'à Anderlecht, je jouais plus défensif. J'étais plus défensif, j'étais pas vraiment offensif, mais quand je suis parti à Eupen, avec le nouveau manager, donc il m'a mis un peu offensif. Donc, comme je viens de dire que je suis un peu polyvalent, je peux faire box to box, donc je peux jouer comme 6 types. Donc, et là, il y a des fois, il me mettait comme un peu milieu offensif et je me filtrais pour aller marquer tous ces goals. C'est cette année qui m'a donné la chance de jouer un peu offensivement.
Good to hear there from Kayembe. Tommy, let's talk about this edition first of all into the squad. We can take a look at his stats and career to date so far, but from what he said there, sounds like an exciting player for the club and looking forward to getting stuck in.
Yeah, and it's also a positive. He's flexible in that central midfield, happy to play the defensive role, or the 6 as we would call it, and then also happy to play the attacking role and getting in the opposition box. Played in a good league, so good experience, and yeah, for a young age, he's played a lot of games, so I think it's a positive one.
Lloyd, listening to that, you liked what he was saying?
Yeah, I like his flexibility. He said that, whatever position the manager wants him to play, he will play, and he'll do his best he can do. So I like that attitude.
Yeah, no, massively. Right, another signing then. Let's get some more exclusive content, shall we, for you here on Inside The Hive. Next up, let's hear from Hassan Kamara.
Tell us a little bit about you. What type of player are you? What are your strengths?
I like to run, box to box. I think I'm good defensively, and I have some experience because it's my since 80 I'm a professional. So I think so. My quality is here: run and long. I can run quickly and for a long time.
I think watching some videos, you like attacking, you like going forward and helping out, assists and maybe scoring some goals as well?
Yes, because before I'm winter and after I go back. So when I can, I like attack, but I know I am a defender firstly, but when I can, I like to attack.
What's it going to be like for you stepping out for the first time in the Premier League?
I think I need to be calm, because it's my dream, so I don't have to do not calm, and I need to observe the game because it's my first time, and I have to know better my team.
Tell us a little bit about this season and your spell with Nice.
We won't play first position, but the situation of the club is difficult because we have lost so many times. But it's good because I have learned and I have improved my game, offensively, defensively, and it's a good experience.
Great stuff. And just one last thing, what would you say to Watford supporters who will watch you? What can they expect to see from you on the pitch?
I want to say to the fans, we need them, We need them because it's not easy to stay in Premier League, and for players it's not easy, but it's our job. So we do better for staying in Premier League, and personally I give 100%.
Good to hear from Hassan Kamara there, and Tommy again spoke incredibly well. Seems up for the challenge, and could be in contention this weekend as well, which is exciting to see.
Easier to hit the ground running when he has a grasp of English too. So fair play to him for doing his first interview in English. Plenty of others would try and dodge that, but again played at a very good level in France. Nice is a particularly difficult place to go and play. So. If he can cope with that crowd, then hopefully he'll be able to cope with St James's if required.
International experience for both of those players as well. That's important, isn't it? When you're bringing a player in January, you want someone who knows the game.
Yeah, well, Hassan's played over 240 odd games, so he's very experienced, and he played international football, so he played, the top crop football really, and he's a left back, and Watford, they need a little bit more competition at left back, so it's a good addition for Watford.
Yeah. Now there is going to be a chance for you to hear from another one of our signings as well. The Brazilian Samir, of course, signed from Udinese. There's going to be exclusive interviews with him on our social media channels, so keep an eye on those in the coming days, so you can get an insight to Samir as well. Another great player. We touched on him last week, Tommy, but just can't wait to see these players. It's great news at the minute. We've got obviously three new signs in contention, plus the players coming back from injury as well. It's a good place for the squad to be right now. Yeah,
obviously we've got a few away at the AFCON tournament. So yeah, I think vital that we bring in a few fresh faces that are desperate to play in the Premier League, and also the experience of the injured players coming back. The more players you've got to pick from, the more chance you've got of picking that winning team. So yeah, I think the timing of it's good.
We were chatting before the show. Both of you guys have come into a club in a winter period. What's that like? Is it harder than coming in the summer?
Yes, I thought it was a little bit harder coming in at the summer, because I had an injury, got let go by Watford, and I was fit in December. So the next time I could sign for someone was in January, and that was at Rotherham. And I came in halfway through the season, and the team wasn't doing too well. And I felt that I came in and I was a new fresh face, and I tried to help them along. And luckily enough, the boys, we had a really good group, and the boys helped me fit straight in.
Awesome. And Tommy, for you came here, didn't you? Is it in the March time?
Yeah, just obviously there was no transfer window then, but there was a deadline day in March, and I came a week or two before that. So I came with one thing in mind, to try and help the team and the club stay in the Championship, and we managed to do that by signing 3 or 4, maybe even 5 new faces. And yeah, it's a smaller season from then. When you come in, you've got 3 months left, and you've got a challenge to meet, and I really enjoyed it. And I've said many times, was lucky enough to be asked to stay on full time.
Yeah, no, massive. Well, great to see new faces coming into the club as well. I'm looking forward to seeing them make their debuts in a Watford shirt. Of course, as always on the show, we love it when you send in your questions. Time for some of those right now. So, Lloyd, you ready for these?
Yeah.
Perfect. Right, okay. First question comes from Casey. And Casey would like to know, what was your favourite moment at Vicarage Road?
Possibly my goal. That was my favourite moment. As I mentioned earlier, it was just a great atmosphere. Yeah, it was a carnival atmosphere, and obviously I scored my first goal.
Amazing. Tommy, you got a favourite moment at Vicarage Road?
Probably the relief of getting enough points to get into the playoffs the year we were promoted, because that was such a stressful time in everybody's lives. So it was a sense of joy, but relief, similar to scoring a goal. Relief sometimes is the best thing. Is the best thing.
Nice. Ben West said, "Did you mean to cross that goal against Bolton?"
Yeah, I did mean to cross it, but I did do that twice in that same game. The other one hit the crossbar.
Nice.
But yeah, it was a cross.
You never admit that. See, that's the difference between a defender and a striker. If you'd have asked me that question, I said, course.
But I'll take it.
No, a goal's a goal, right?
Goal's a goal.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Tommy, I'm asking you that question. Come on, I want a bit of honesty now. A goal that you didn't mean that went in.
Oh, there's loads that I've not even touched. If I was in the vicinity, and bear in mind,
it's yours. The one hand goes up.
The hand goes up. I didn't care. There is a couple that were quite close to me that I've claimed. So maybe that covers your question.
I'm going on Wikipedia a little bit. I'm taking a few goals off you.
No, as long as you don't take more than 8.
Okay.
I need to still be over 200.
Still need to be over 200. Love that. Right, Fitzy says the best manager you played under and why.
There's a few. I thought under AD Booth for a period, especially the first year, we were successful, and maybe the type of football wasn't the best football, but was, very successful. He got all the players, all the families together, and the squad was as one. And I'd probably say Zola.
Okay.
The football that we was playing was awesome that year. I know we lost in the playoff final, but I felt that year we deserved to go up. And his management was good, his coaching was good, and I'll probably say one more.
Go for it.
Brendan Rodgers.
Okay.
He was here for 6 months, and I thought his coaching methods were top drawer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Good answers. Let's go for Freddie's question next. A player in the current side you would have liked to have played with?
Maybe Sarr.
Okay.
Because I was just giving the ball to him and allow him to do all the work, and I just defend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy, what about you? Is it from a striker's perspective? Who from this current squad would you have liked to have played with? Whether it be someone that would have been giving the balls you or to play alongside?
I think Josh King, the pair of us would have beaten a few defenders up. And I'm sure we would have got a lot of goals working as a combination and as a team.
Nice. Final question for the minute comes from Beachstagram. It says, which player did you never back out of a tackle with in training? Or is there someone that you always left now and again?
No, in training for me, I would always tackle hard, but not to injure anyone. But I always knew who to stay away from.
Okay. Who'd you stay away from? Come then.
So,
reveal it.
Al Bangora, way back, you to stay away from him. Uche Impenza, who's at Middlesbrough now, he would always step on your toes, a little bit clumsy. You would always get a palm in your face. I would always know to stay away from them.
Nice. Tommy, was there any players you always avoided in training?
No.
Fearless. Look at him. Such a straight answer. No. Awesome. Perfect. Thank you very much for your questions so far. A chance for more of those a little bit later on in the show. Right, time for something special today. If you are a regular viewer of Inside The Hive, you'll know we like to play a little game called Ask Tommy, where basically I ask Tommy some ridiculously difficult questions and ask our guests really easy questions. But we're going to do something a bit different today because we are going to do the 60-second challenge live. Yes, that's right. I have some questions ready. Tommy, look at that. We've got a special graphic made up for you, see?
With a fringe, look.
With hair as well. I've not seen you with hair before properly. That's nice.
What, you haven't Googled me?
No, I don't Google my guests because I do proper research. Okay, Tommy, very simple. You know how this game works. Tommy's got 60 seconds on the clock. I'm going to ask him some quick fire questions. We've got our leaderboard, of course, which we've seen throughout the season. And if Tommy does well, we'll let him go on the leaderboard. Tommy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Steve is in the background. He's keeping score, our independent adjudicator. So here we go. We're ready. 60 seconds is on the clock. Let's go. Penalty shootout in a cup final. Would you go first or last?
First.
Morning person or night owl?
Night.
Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
Team you supported as a kid?
Liverpool.
Best stadium apart from Vicarage Road?
Wembley.
Dream dinner guest?
Elvis.
A last minute winner or a hat trick?
Winner.
First football boots?
Patrick.
Favourite musician or group?
Elton John.
City or country life?
Country.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Home games or away days?
Home.
Netflix or Prime?
Netflix.
Long distance runner or short distance sprinter?
Sprinter.
Fancy restaurant or takeaway?
Takeaway.
Best dish you can cook?
Pasta.
Favourite movie?
Love Actually.
Favourite sport other than football?
Golf.
If you could play any musical instrument, what would it be?
Guitar.
Would you like red sauce or brown sauce?
Brown.
Favourite holiday destination?
Portugal.
Worst teammate to share a room with?
Robert Page.
Worst thing about pre-season?
Running.
Oh, time is up. I tell you what, you got through a few there.
That's got to get me on the leaderboard.
That's
Love
some
Actually, where did
serious
that come
speed.
from?
That was good.
Cool. Okay.
You've
I
done
know
this
how
before.
many you've got. We're going to keep that secret for a second because we're going to do Lloyd next as well. Okay. Do you think that's done enough to get you on the leaderboard?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
I felt like I was going
was
well,
strong.
and then fatigue kicked in. I still don't.
I don't know where Love Actually
Love
comes from, to be
Actually.
completely honest.
I mean, if we'd done this in June, I would never have even thought of Love Actually.
Right, I'm going to give these a shuffle. So you may get a similar question, you may get a different question. But we're going to go. We're going to put 60 seconds on the clock now for you. Lloyd, you up for this?
Yep.
Okay. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Home games or away days?
Away.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
City or country life?
City.
Favourite musician or group?
Drake.
First foot or boots?
Reebok.
Last minute winner or a hat trick?
Last minute winner.
Dream dinner guest?
Rihanna.
Best stadium apart from Vicarage Road?
Old Trafford.
Most famous person on your phone? Make it up, I'm not going to check.
Jimmy Floyd Hassan.
Love that. Coach or train to away games?
Coach.
Match day superstition?
From a bottle to the side of the pitch.
Worst thing about pre-season?
Running.
Worst teammate to share a room with?
Nathan Ellington.
Favourite holiday destination?
Dubai.
Red sauce or brown sauce?
Red.
If you could play a musical instrument, what would it be?
Drums.
Favourite sport other than football?
Rugby.
Favourite movie?
Love Actually.
Love Actually.
Love Actually. First car you ever owned?
BMW.
There we go. Time is up.
Yep.
Not
Only
bad. Not bad.
12.
Not bad. Okay.
I mean, that's a huge advantage.
Okay.
That's an advantage.
Perfect. There we go.
19.
Scores. Don't
Sorry.
ruin it. It's live TV. Come on, Lloyd. Suspense we need to create. Okay. Lloyd, you got 19, as you
Yep.
quite rightly witnessed from Steve holding a piece of paper in the background. Tommy, do you think you did better or do you think you did worse?
I think better.
You think better with answers like Love Actually and Elvis. Okay. Tommy, you got 22. 22. Leaderboard wise.
Does that get me on there?
How will it get you on there? 22. Oh, it puts you in joint third place on 22. So you're on the leaderboard. And Lloyd, 19. You're down there with Ashley Fletcher and Joshua King. So no poor performances. You're all in the top 10. So not too bad. For now. We'll see how that goes through the rest of the season. But a little bit different. Do you prefer that to ask Tommy, or do you prefer ridiculous questions about distance to places that you're not too sure of?
I'd love another go at that rather than your
60
ridiculous
seconds.
questions. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Maybe Tommy will get another go a little bit later on.
And there was a
in
golf
the
one in
season.
there.
There was a
We've got
golf one. I made
in
sure.
there. Yeah,
Always
well
look
done.
after you. Always look after you. Right, okay. A lot's coming up in the next week for you here at the club. Of course, this weekend, if you're travelling up to Newcastle, wish you an incredibly safe trip up there. 3 o'clock kickoff. Tommy is going to be on commentary. And always stay tuned to all the club channels for exclusive build-up and reaction. And of course, it's a busy week because Tuesday we then head to Burnley for that rearranged fixture. 7:30 kickoff. Again, Tommy is going to be busy on that one, and hopefully he'll see a full 90 minutes at Burnley for once in a while. What else have we got coming your way? Then on Friday, 3 games within the week. We've got Watford versus Norwich. That is a 8 o'clock kickoff on Friday. Of course, stay tuned to all the channels for all the build-up for that throughout the week. Watford ladies, the women's team, take on Blackburn Rovers. That is a 3 o'clock kickoff on January the 23rd. Friend of the show, Gifted Noel Williams, of course, in charge of the women's team at the moment. You can get your tickets going to tickets.watfordfc.com. 3 o'clock kickoff on Sunday, January the 23rd. And the January sale is still in full swing if you want to get up to 60% off. shop.watfordfc.com. Okay, time now then to delve into our Watford's greatest 11. We've got our goalkeeper, we've got our right back and our left back, and we're going to be now looking for some centre backs. So of course this is the team as it stands. Gifton Noel Williams picked Ben Foster for our goalkeeper. Nigel Gibbs was picked by Tommy Smith, and then Tommy last week picked his friend Paul Robinson to play at the back as well. So we are now picking a centre-back. Lloyd, you are going to have the honour of doing that this week to add to our team. But first of all, let's just talk about the position of being a centre-back. Tommy, for you, what are the key attributes? What are you looking for in a good centre-back?
I think organisation and starting positions to defend. I played at centre-back for a couple of years, two years here, and then also for Derby. So very, very different to a striker's role for me, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. You get to see the whole game in front of you. It's completely different to a striking role. So I think organisation, leadership and bravery.
Obviously, Lloyd, it's a position you've you've played in a few times as well, and you know, organisation, bravery, leadership, qualities of yours?
Some. I agree with Tommy there. Definitely leadership and organisation. You know, being able to read the game before the ball's there to stop the strikers. The strikers can just be spontaneous. They could just take a gamble. As a defender, you need to have a good shape, and you know, I think being a good defender, you need to be able to read the game.
And I guess as well, the modern day centre back as well. We see it with players like Virgil van Dijk. They have to play with the ball as well. They have to be good with the ball at their feet to start the moves and play out from the back as well. Yeah,
that's right. You know, modern day centre half is not just kick and head anymore. You know, you need to be a good footballer, full stop. And you know, regardless of what position you play, you have to be a good footballer, and you need to be good with your feet. You see nowadays, even goalkeepers, you know, they're as good with their feet as most midfielders are nowadays.
No, massively. Tommy, for you, I know we've spoken before about centre-backs that you've come up against. I think it was Sol Campbell, you said, was one of the most difficult players that you played against. What is it about a player like Sol and players that you've played against that make them difficult to play against as a striker?
I think, with Sol in particular, Rio Ferdinand the same, they're not just athletic, they're these footballers that Lloyd's talking about. So you can beat some in one way and some in another way, but the top defenders, you can't beat them either way, and that's what sets them apart. Really, for me, it's, you know, they have to be aggressive but talented, smart, and be able to cover the ground quickly. Those were the ones that I struggled against because I was so slow.
Right, let's start talking contenders then, because we've had some great centre backs. Tommy, for you, any kind of particular players that stand out?
I think the era before me was always John McClelland was always a reference point for Graham Taylor and Kenny Jackett. So, you know, John for me would be one of those that I'd never seen play too many times, but everybody that played against him knew that they were in a game and could play. He wasn't just a rough and tough tackling centre half. He could play, and he'd be brave and put his head in both boxes to score and defend goals. So I think John McClelland, obviously from my time, Robert Page, one of the youngest ever captains of the football club, and to lift the trophy at Wembley is, you know, one of those that will always be remembered. I know Pagey talks about it an awful lot, but again, went on to do well in international football. So those for me from the early years, I suppose.
How about you then? Don't obviously reveal your selection, but just yet. But you know, you got people like Filippo Gali and stuff like that. Let's talk us through some of those players.
Yeah. So my first year as a pro, and when I got into the team, Filippo Gali came in, and you could see that he was, you know, a really good player. Yes, he was 39, 40 years old, but you could see that he had, you know, he played at the top, and he actually taught me quite a lot, you know, while he was here. His English was superb, and I sometimes played with him, and I learned a lot off him.
Amazing. Right, no pressure then. we get the choice of 2 centre-backs, so I guess next week as well we'll have a chance to add theirs. So there's not too much pressure on it. It's not like just one position you've got to pick. There's a chance for someone else to pick someone in there as well. Of course, your selection can be someone that you've obviously had experience playing with, or someone that you saw play lots. So that's what's quite nice about this team. We're getting lots of different opinions and selections on it. So come on then, reveal your selection. Who would you like to pick as your greatest centre-back?
Well, I played with quite a few centre-backs. Obviously, I played right back as well and left back, but one that probably stands out for me was Adrian Mariappa.
Okay.
He actually knocked me out of the team at one stage. So, but we've always had a good relationship. He's a good pal of mine, and he has the attributes that is needed to be a centre-back. He's got a good leap, he's aggressive, he can cover ground, and he concentrates. Sometimes defenders fall asleep, and most of the time I thought Adi Mariappa was top draw.
Nice. Good choice. And you've done what Tommy did last week and picked your friend, so that's nice. You're not going to be in trouble now. Tommy, a good selection to add to our team?
Yeah, it is. Just to be clear, I never picked Robbo because he's my friend.
Wow.
It was a difficult choice.
No, it was.
But I did get some stick via text message this week off Robbo, so I just want you to know that thanks for making me do that.
No worries.
I played against Maps. Tough when you think you're away from him. All of a sudden, there'd be an arm or a leg that just takes the ball away from you. So, yeah, I can understand why Lloyd's gone for him and played a lot of games for the club. I always like a loyal player.
No, massively. Well, let's take a look at that side then and how it's shaping up. Well, there we go. Adrian Mariappa is a selection of Lloyd Doyley. There we go. Your name is in there forever now, Lloyd. As that selection, your name gets put alongside it. So, of course, we'll be choosing another centre-back next week, and we'll have our defensive line pretty much in place. OK, let's reflect a little bit on last weekend. Of course, it wasn't the result we all wanted in the FA Cup against Leicester, but it was a very special day for 3 academy players who made their first team debut. There was Forde, there was Kamil, Conteh, and of course, James Morris. Let's hear from them now.
James, congratulations on your debut today. Ultimately a disappointing result, but on a personal level, a massive day. How was it for you?
Yeah, obviously, like you said, it's a disappointing result because we wanted to get as far as we could in the Cup. But on a personal note, to be able to make my debut, it's obviously a dream come true. All the hard work you put in over the years is for days like this, to play in front of a big stadium, in front of a load of fans. So I absolutely enjoyed it.
Been building up to it for a little while. You've obviously been on the bench a few times. How much does it mean to you to finally get out on that pitch, your first team?
Yeah, obviously being on the bench is a great experience, but it's not quite the same as being on the pitch. I think being in and around it for a bit now, I've got used to what you have to do and stuff I've been watching. But obviously to be involved is the next step, and hopefully there's many more to come.
What was it like out there? Obviously a bit of a tough task having to mark old Brighton, but you handled that pretty well, we think.
Yeah, I know, it's obviously strange. You go from watching players on TV to then all of a sudden I've got to mark them. But I thought I coped all right, and so yeah, it's just a dream come true, really.
Shaq, many congratulations on your debut today. Just some thoughts on the performance, and obviously a big day for yourself on a personal level.
Yeah, I'm really happy with myself making my debut, but obviously it's unfortunate we couldn't get the win. I feel like we had some good chances to put away that maybe on another day we'll put away, but overall I think Leicester deserve to win.
Obviously at such a young age to come on and play first team football, it's a big day for you on a personal level. How much does it mean to you to do that today?
It means everything to me to make my debut at this club. I've been here since I was 7 years old, so to come all the way through and make my debut is just a really special day for me and my family.
Obviously you've emulated your dad today by playing for Watford. I think you've actually got more minutes than him today, so are you having a word with him about that?
Yeah, I'll have a word with him when I get home. How about that?
And what's the difference playing at this level compared to sort of academy under 23s level?
The intensity. I think people are one step ahead, so before they receive it, they're going to know their next pass, or if say someone like you're pressing someone, they might see you and they might change what they want to do. So you just got to be ready, be concentrated, and just be ready for anything that happens.
You said you've been involved with the first team sort of just before Christmas. How did you find out that you might get a game today? Did Claudia have a word with you in training or anything like that?
No, not really. No, it was just today really, just saying that just be ready, and if anything happens, just be ready, go on and show everyone what you can do.
Well, certainly a positive to take away from that match was seeing those players make their debut. You know, Tommy, we've spoken about this before, haven't we? That moment is incredibly special for a young player, and they all did themselves incredibly proud.
Yeah, we've already talked about first team debuts, and the FA Cup exactly the same. Mine wasn't quite so glamorous. It was Scarborough versus Leek Town, and we lost. Leek Town knocked us out, and they were a pub team at the time. Obviously, I was at the game. Very, very good performance from each of them. Different areas in their career, but a good start for James and the lads that came on. The game was over by the time they came on, so that probably helped relax them a little bit. But like I say, for Shaq in particular, playing in the FA Youth Cup and the FA Cup in the same week, I'm sure he'll remember it a long time.
Yeah, massive. And Lloyd, obviously those early memories of making those appearances, I guess once you've played once, you want to play again, but I guess there's a bit of patience to have in there as well, knowing that, as long as you've done all right, there's going to be another opportunity, but you might just have to wait a little bit longer till you become that regular first team player.
And that's why it is. The young boys who've just come in, they need to be patient. They need to keep working and work even harder to make sure they are established first team players. There's been a lot of players that had one appearance or maybe two appearances and never got one again. But let's hope those three will be here for a long time.
And obviously working with a manager like Claudio Ranieri is important. You both worked with the legend that was Graham Taylor. Working with someone like Claudio, that's only going to enhance their game. To be in and around the first team, working with a manager like that, it's a benefit for them.
Yeah, I think the key to it is, like Lloyd just said, it's a huge point is there's a lot of people that have made 1, 2, 3, 4 appearances. The most important thing for these young players is to realise that this is a start, and however hard they've worked to get to that point, this starting point, they've got to work twice as hard to continue it, because you see far too many young players go out of the game because they think they've made one appearance and they think they've made it. They haven't. There's a long, long way to go, and it's up to the senior pros around them to keep them grounded and to keep them working as hard as they were yesterday, tomorrow.
It's great to see lots of support on social media as well for all three of the lads as well. So best luck to James, Shaq and Kamil going forward in their careers. It's great to see them make their debut, and very much looking forward to seeing more of them over the coming years. Okay, let's look forward then to Newcastle at the weekend. It's the beginning of a massive week, 3 big games, and of course that Newcastle United game is where it all begins. Let's kick things off then by hearing from Claudio Ranieri.
And look, obviously you go into games against the likes of Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea. You go in trying to get points from those games as well. But this game on Saturday, these are the really big games that you need to take something from, aren't they?
Yes, this is a big thing, big match for us, for them. But also in this week, we play 3 times against teams who are on the relegation fighters, and then it's very important to be solid, strong, because also the opponent will be strong and solid. And but I'm confident with my team.
And you talk about strong opponents. You're going to have a very strong striker up against you on Saturday, Chris Wood, their new signing. Just first of all, give me your thoughts about coming up against him and the challenges that he presents any defence.
Oh, look, all the world knows Wood, and is strong, very good in the air, good when he holds the ball, and Sam Maxime, they have very, very good players, and we have to make our football when we have to press, when we have to play, and we have to get a positive result.
Well, there we go. Looking forward to the weekend against Newcastle. Tommy, when you've got a big week like this, you've got 3 big games. It's important to hit the ground running with that first one. And it's never easy going to St James's Park, but it's a big challenge.
It is a big challenge, but it's a Premier League. It's a challenge every week, home or away. But particularly, like we mentioned earlier, the timing of it with their 2 new players and the new ownership, they all think that their season's going to change. They've been worse than us up to this point, so we have to remember that. And take the positives out of the way that we've played and picked up performances from some good teams. So I think it's going to be a tough 20 minutes. The lads will need tin hats on Saturday afternoon to defend for that first 20 minutes. Whether that Storm, whatever the scoreline is, it's not important. It's the result that matters. Whether that first 20 minutes and then take your game to them.
Yeah, massive. Lloyd, going to a stadium like that where there is that excitement, I guess, of they've got the new ownership, but it could be an interesting one after their defeat, of course, to Cambridge in the FA Cup last week. And they put a strong side out for that as well. So the fans maybe not seeing that instant success they were hoping.
And that's exactly what I was thinking. You know, Newcastle fans will get on to the Newcastle players if it's not going well. So, as Tommy just said, you know, Newcastle will come out at us, but as long as we hold strong and make sure it's 0-0, we've always got a chance.
What have you made so far, the change that Eddie Howe's made there so far? Have you seen enough yet from their perspective?
I don't think, with the position that they're in and the injuries that they've got, I don't think one striker and one right back will be the end of it. I think they'll certainly be trying to bring others in, but they've got themselves in a difficult position, as have 4 or 5 other teams around them. And it's about that group of players, whichever ones get the starting shirts on a Saturday, Tuesday, Friday evening. They're the ones that have got to pull their team out of the relegation area. The same as our players have got to start by doing that, hopefully on Saturday, because it's a massive 6 days, ending with, for me, a big advantage of playing on the Friday night under the lights here at Vicarage Road, and you know, to be looking at that game going in. It'll be after, we'll do a show next week. I'm sure we could have 6 points already by the time we play that game.
Fingers crossed. And of course, going forward as well, we know we're going to get our chances. You know, some of those attacking performances we've seen so far this year. Lloyd, you know, we know we're going to get chances.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Watford will always get chances. I think Ranieri's come in and he's tried to make it a little bit more solid at the back. For one reason or another, it hasn't quite worked. But, you know, they have to go into each game as it comes and just make sure they go into a game on Saturday and make sure they go and, you know, get a good result, if it's 1 point or 3 points.
Tommy, you alluded to the fact that, you know, as players, you love those when you've got big games coming up in a big week like that. How will that week look for the players? Obviously, game Saturday, then a midweek game, and then a Friday night game. There's not too much time for training in between with recovery. What will that week look like for the players?
No, they'll be in every day. There won't be any day off this week. That's for sure. Even with 2 wins in the first 2 games, I don't think there'll be a day off. You have to be professional about it. You're not professional because you're being paid. You're professional because you pay attention to detail, and that's what they'll have to do this week. Concentration for 96, 97, 98 minutes, whatever it takes in each of those games, and then look forward to the next one. Lloyd will tell you it's much easier to play the next game in a couple of days if you've just won the previous game. So they've got that opportunity to start that on Saturday.
And a positive, well, I know we've got players away at the Africa Cup of Nations as well, but when we look at the injury news that we saw a little bit earlier on, and we mentioned on the show as well, you know, the fact that Ben might be back in contention for this weekend as well, that's a real booster along with those new signings as well.
Yeah, you know, Ben Foster is one of my best goalkeepers I've ever played with, and he's got big personality. So regardless if he does start or not, he'd be part of that group, and that's always going to help.
Yeah, massively. Well, I say a big few days on that one. If you're travelling to those away games as well, wish you a safe journey on those ones, and of course keep focused on all the club's social media channels. Tommy's going to be on commentary for them as well, so you can keep well abreast of all the action. Okay, final part of the show is a chance for some more questions for you guys that the fans have sent in. First one is from Harry, and he would like to know the hardest player you ever played against.
There's been a few that's ripped me up. Damien Duff.
Okay.
For Chelsea, when he got that big move from Blackburn to Chelsea. He was always on the move. He just kept on catching me off guard. It was awesome. I also had played against Benzema. This is when I played for Jamaica, and him and Giroud gave us a nightmare. And just one more, Rooney and Larson together. Okay. So I played at Old Trafford and we lost 4-0.
You've nearly broken your foot there with those, those names that you dropped in there.
Just the name you dropped there.
Rooney was dropping into, you know, the number 10 role, and Larson was trying to stretch us, they gave us nightmares. All we were seeing was just red arrows just everywhere.
Love that. For you as a Watford player and as a former Watford player, what do you make of Emmanuel Dennis as a player?
He's a very good player. You know, I think how many goals he's scored? 8 goals, is it?
Yeah, and he's got the assists in there as well. He's done well.
Yeah, and he's had many assists. You know, he looks a danger any time he gets on the ball. You know, he can go right, he can go left. I'm not quite sure I would like to play against him. So, you know, that's a big compliment for him. From me.
No, massively.
Yeah, you know, I think as long as we get some injuries back, you know, we could have a good attacking force that could cause anyone problems.
Nice. Our question come from King Hamzy, so thank you very much for your question. Geordie is up next. What are your plans for the future, Lloyd? Is it enjoying the assistant manager role? Do you want to be the manager one day? What's your aims?
I wouldn't quite say manager, but I'm enjoying being assistant manager and, you know, academy coach. You know, I'm just trying to progress in that department at the moment. I love being in football. Football's what I've been in part of my whole life. So I just enjoy giving information and it's my experiences to others.
Yeah, massive. And we've spoken before, Tommy, about the things you've done since your playing career, and you've gone into some exciting things. There's so many opportunities, isn't there, now for former players, whether it be into the media or into recruitment or to coaching. There's so many avenues these days.
Yeah, I think that there is, and you know, you don't have to make a decision today. You know, I've coached, I've gone into recruitment. Now I'm with you in the media side. So, you know, I've got many strings to my bow.
You say how the mighty have fallen. You're now here with me.
Not very good at any of them before you say it. No, I think that's the opportunity that I think people that were working in football clubs respect hard work, and whatever channel that you choose to do, if you work hard at it, you improve.
Certainly do. Right, final question comes from Tim, and it's more of a request than a question. It comes from Lloyd. It says, please can you do all of us Watford fans a favour and knock Bournemouth out of the cup?
We'll try our best. We know it's going to be a difficult ask. You know, we're in the National League and they're flying in the Championship. But we've got nothing to lose, and we're going to go out there and perform to our best abilities.
Nice. We'll see if we can get you a local man is pleased t-shirt from the club shop.
Why
so
not?
when you can just reveal that to the cameras. I think you're on did get games on TV, isn't it? So look, best of luck for that. Thank you so much for coming in today. Pleasure to have your company. You've signed our ball for us. Of course, one of you lucky viewers is going to be walking away with this at the end of the season. Best of luck in the FA Cup. Best of luck for the rest of the season. And thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Tommy, pleasure to have you on the show as always.
Thank you.
Back again next week.
Some miles in the car in between.
I know,
Newcastle and Burnley, and I'll see you back here.
Look forward to it. Have a safe trip up there. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us on the show. Once again, pleasure to have your company as well. If you're travelling to those 2 away games, please do drive safely and travel. Get there safe. Enjoy the match. Makes lots of noise. Get behind the boys. And fingers crossed, this time next week, we'll be sat here with 6 points, looking to make it 9 on the Friday. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.